feel like a star, but only strictly where I'm famous. I'm in this for the longest haul, like we'll see where it takes us. I'm throwing back these double shots like whiskey here is weightless. Cause this career I chose was even riskier than Vegas, yo.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Colby Rebel Show. I am your host, Colby Rebel, where my goal is to answer that question or make that connection. So make sure you put your questions, connections in our comments. Join us as we come live. We have some fantastic volunteers here with us tonight as well. So I'm very, very excited to answer your questions and connect to your loved ones in spirit. We do have some upcoming events that I'm very, very excited to share with you. First and foremost, we have Valentine's messages. You know, as we come across Valentine's Day, it is a reminder of our loved ones, those in the physical, but also those in the spirit world. So this is Monday, February 13th, and it is a way for you to connect to those loved ones on the other side. So it's loving, healing. What is it they want to say, have to say? And it will be a very intimate evening of spirit messages. So very, very excited about that. Also coming up, February 22nd is Beginner's Platform. So platform is when we are serving spirit in front of a group, whether that's an environment like this, whether that's on stage, whether it's in a church, a theater, what have you. It is an opportunity to serve spirit for a group all at one time. So extremely excited for that. So if you've been looking to kind of spread those wings of yours, that's a great workshop for you to take. And of course, we have our advanced and our beginner circles starting up as well. So these are weekly development circles. So our advanced circle, that is coming up and it starts February 28th. And with that, we have an opportunity to help you take those gifts further. Okay. Help you kind of get that confidence, that flow, maybe work on some nuances. If you're just looking to figure it all out, maybe the universe has been talking to you. You want to hear those messages a little bit clearer, understand those signs and symbols. We have the beginners development circle, and that's on Wednesday nights, and that starts March 1st. So the beginners circle starts March 1st. So you guys will have that. So there's a lot going on, a lot we are sharing and talking about. But we have so many volunteers that I just want to kind of bring in, talk, and let's see what we have tonight. So first and foremost, let me bring in Trisha here.
Hi there.
Hi, Trisha. How are
Hi.
you?
I'm well. How are you, Colby?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. What can I do for you tonight, Trisha?
So I was hoping to connect with my dad.
Okay, got it. One of the things I feel his energy so strong, Trisha. So I'm almost feeling that maybe it hasn't been that long since he's passed, or that he's kind of a big presence. Would you understand that about your dad, your pop? Like I want to call him Pop. He gives me that feeling where he just shares with me that sense of he's coming in. Uh, he's coming in strong. He's coming in bold. He's coming in unapologetic.
That's my dad.
So yeah, and he just also kind of loves, I will say, loves giving people a hard time. So I think that's either whether it's about their sports, whether it's about their politics. Like if he doesn't agree, he's going to let you know he doesn't agree, and he does it with love. But it's also like he's not afraid to have a shakedown with it. You know what I
No.
mean? Your dad gives me so the one thing I see with your dad is dungarees, jeans. So I'm almost feeling like he didn't like to get too dressed up, or he really preferred his more casual attire. Would you understand that?
Yes.
Okay, because I get that around him, and I also get, you know what's interesting, Trisha? Do you know if at any point in time your dad was a smoker? Maybe not at the end of his life, but I wonder maybe more early on, that he makes me feel like he was a smoker. Do you understand that with him?
Yes.
Okay, I do feel like he gave it up though. But gosh, he sure did. Okay. Let me be honest, or let him be honest. I do believe he gave it up. I do think every once in a while he ran around the back shed and just kind of cheated. I'm
Yes,
telling you, don't
he
tell.
did.
Okay.
Yes.
And he just didn't want to get caught. um, because I feel like he would get a licking from mom. Like I just feel like he couldn't get away with anything. Do you understand that?
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
and I just know with dad, I just feel like with dad, he gives me Elaine, Trisha, I feel like there's an illness connected to dad. Do you understand that? Or something, cancer in the chest or cancer. There's
Um,
just an illness.
my dad had COPD
Okay,
and
so then we understand the
asbestosis.
chest.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so because he was very much giving me the chest very, very strongly. Okay, so I do believe that that's what he's talking about. Okay. Um, but again, it's interesting. Also, I don't know if your dad was a painter or do you know if your dad did housework or was a painter at some point? Not a canvas painter, but more home improvement or things around that.
He did things around the house. He would paint,
Okay, but
but he
not as
wasn't
a
a painter.
profession.
No.
Okay, got it. He just gives me a sense of doing I think he may have been in the middle of an odd job or something he was working on with the house when his health really took a decline.
Hmm.
Because he gives me the sense of working on some things, right? I feel like with your dad, he just shows me a feeling of I feel like your dad is very relatable. I think he could talk to anyone. I feel like he really shares with me a sense of I I, I don't know if this is the right word, but a little grumpiness. But I think like with off your back kind of he didn't care. I just feel like he didn't care. Like if someone he just was I think he was funny a lot of times and he makes me feel like with that funniness or with that that witty sense of humor, he was also like a place of
Sorry about that.
no, that's okay. That's okay. It's either barking dogs, barking kids, or barking spouses. We can't get away from them.
My son
Don't
just
worry.
came in from art class.
Yeah. Oh, but see, that's the art. That's the painting, right?
Yeah.
You see, so just know, but isn't that wonderful? Your dad is watching him.
He
So
just literally came in.
you gotta let, that's why the art came in, right? But you have to let your dad know, let your son know that grandpa's watching him, okay? And just know that, all right? But I feel like for you, Trisha, I think dad just really wants to step forward to, obviously tell people he's okay and he is fine on the other side, okay? And knowing that he's okay on the other side. I do believe he's a man of faith, so he lets me know that he is with God. There's just a sense of like I'm good. I'm home. I'm with God. So he shares that. I do feel like wholeheartedly he definitely missed some home cooking. So I will not gonna. I think he loved his home cooked meals, of course, but he just shares with us that he feels like he wants everyone to know he did the best he could in this world. He really did. I think he showed up for friends, he showed up for family, and I feel like things weren't always easy for him, but I feel like he never backed down from anything, and I feel like for him he's very, very proud of that, and he's very proud of his family supporting him. Okay, so I will leave that with you, Trisha.
Thank you.
Yeah, lots of love to you. Okay. There we go. So we'll just leave that with her and knowing that her dad is with her and I love it. I definitely wouldn't want to argue with sports about him, that's for sure. I might be a losing battle. Okay, let us bring in Sherry. Hi, Sherry. How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I am doing well. Thank you for joining me. And what can I do for you tonight?
I wanted to connect with my grandmother.
Okay, got it, Sherry. Let's see. I feel like with your grandmother, I'll tell you, like, what a lady. I mean, I just feel like, the minute I connect to her, I just feel like, I hope this is okay to say, but what a broad. Like, I just feel like I want to go. She's got some power. She's got some oomph to her, She's got some grit and a lot of love to it and a lot of like, again, I think for her, Sherry, I think also, especially early on, a lot of she fought very hard, I think, for her family or to keep people together. And I think sometimes there were some very hard times for her, but I feel like she was very strong on keeping the family together, keeping people together. Do you know what I mean? And
Yes.
I feel like for her, there is still though, she puts her hands on her hips, and there is just no nonsense from her, though. There is like, I think she is a strong woman, a strong person, and that very much came from love. It really makes me feel like it comes from a place of wanting people to know that she cares about them. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Um, and I just heard Rosemarie. I don't know if that connects as a name for her or someone in the family, but do you know a Rose or a Marie or a Rosemarie in the family, Sherry?
She nicknamed my daughter Amber Rose. I don't
Oh,
know
that's
about the
what it is.
Marie, but she nicknamed my daughter Rose when
Amber, okay, that's what it is. That's what it is. Okay. And she really shares really what it is too, though, is I feel like with your daughter, I actually feel like your daughter is very close to her as well, because I just feel like she gives me a sense of wanting to empower, wanting to. I just feel like for her too, there's a simpleness, Sherry. I think for her, it's very much about keeping things simple or keeping things straightforward. There's not a lot of. I think she certainly likes pretty things, but it's not an overwhelming sense of things have to be all glitz and glamour. I think things very much coming from the heart. I actually feel like she may have sewn or sewed. Do you know she would like sew things, or do you understand a handmade apron that she would have had?
yeah.
Sherry, or do you understand a handmade apron for okay. Because she gives me that. She also gives me, I mean, I don't know how much you would know this next part. She was very, very close to her grandmother. I don't know if you know that or not know that, but she really shares that she was very close. I do believe the name Marie is still in the family. So I would look at your family tree if you can, because I do believe that there's a Marie, and I believe that name is in spirit, and I believe it could also be connected to a middle name. Okay, so I am going to give you that. Okay,
Okay.
she gives me a feeling where I feel like her hair may have been important to her, or keeping the flow of her hair. Do you understand that with her?
Yes.
Um,
Every day.
so yeah, she gives me that of making sure like her due is done. So she liked that, and she loved, I will tell you, she makes me feel like she would love little gift cards. So she got a gift card to get her hair done, or a gift card to get her nails done. She loved this because for her these were luxuries to have these things done, and she really gives me a sense of just loving that and being around it. I feel like that she had definitely had a harder time getting around, especially towards the end. Um, I think for most of her life, very, very mobile or very strong, not an issue. I get the sense that towards the end, though, definitely a little bit more off balance. You know what happens is they show me kind of a wobble. So she showed me a wobble. So either something's wrong with a leg or a hip, like there's just this unbalancedness. Do you understand that with her, Sherry? Okay. And I know with her, I just feel like with her, I think one of the things she appreciated, so she shows me in a bed. So I feel like, she's in bed, and then there's family members checking in, or family members making sure she's taken care of. And she loves this, and this means a lot to her. Okay. So I will say that and it's almost like you guys are rotating. Yeah. So she shows me the shifts that are being done. And she really loved that. And it was nice too, because each of you guys have very different personalities. The different people coming in have very different personalities. So each of you would bring something different to talk about or something different to do. So I feel like there's you, Sherry. I feel like there would have been a sister of yours also helping mom. And also, I believe a granddaughter of hers as well. So I'm seeing this kind of rotation. You understand this around her? Um, so she gives me that. And I will, Sherry, I will just say, I think there was such a sense of peace with her, of her being coming to terms with her passing. I think she felt older. She felt like, oh gosh, I'm done. She was like, oh, I'm done, Lord, I'm done. And she was okay with that. Sherry, she was okay with that. You understand that?
She told us that God had been coming to her, preparing her.
That's right. And that's right. She shows me. Now I got a little lost. I heard tulips, but then I saw lilies. So I feel like there's a connection to either tulips or lilies for her, Sherry, or flowers. So you understand that, or bringing her fresh flowers before she passes.
Yeah, there was
Okay.
flowers everywhere. Her
Okay,
house,
because
everywhere.
she loves the flowers, and she really gives me a sense of um of knowing, just knowing how much she loves the flowers. She also, I do believe she actually, I don't know if you know this, I believe she loves the color yellow. And I say that because the tulips were yellow that she showed me. So she gives that to me. I also feel like, if I have this, I believe that she was Catholic as well. And I don't know, I don't know what that's called, but at Easter we have that grass that we hang up. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she's showing me that. So she keeps bringing me Easter. Do you know if there's a connection to a birthday or a celebration around the month of Easter that you can connect to, or the month of April?
I'm not sure.
Okay, I feel like there may be a birthday or a celebration, and even I would go so far as like April 21st. So I'll leave it with you if it's not connecting, or the 21st of a month. But she makes me feel like there's a birthday or a celebration. So I want you to just think of that, okay? And you can put it in the comments. I also know that she shows me, well, it's interesting because I was going to say a locket. So I feel like there's a locket connected to her, but then I also got in the impression of a heart. So do you know if your grandmother either gave a locket, or you understand the connection to a locket with her, Sherry?
Um, I don't know nothing about a locket, but the heart. The day before she passed away, in physical therapy, the physical therapist made a heart pillow.
Oh, there we go.
The physical therapist made it. My grandma helped my grandmother make it the day before she passed, and we put it in a casket with her because she was proud of it.
Okay, there we go. So that's what she's talking about, the heart. And then she's also talking about being able to make things and sew. So that was also really good. I just feel like your grandmother, I'll tell you what, especially in her younger days, just could chat anyone up. I feel like just a little socialite, just just a sense of graciousness. Love to just check on how you doing, like what can I do for you? So there's a lot of that happening. So just know, on the other side, I think she's an official greeter. I feel like she is just the hostess with the mostest, right? And so just know that she's at peace. She is okay. She wants to thank all of you, though, for helping her step forward, for just helping her make that transition beautiful, graceful. And really quick too, at right after she passes, she can hear you guys talking. So I know that you guys are in the room. So she lets me know that she hears you, and she says thank you. And so I feel like she just didn't pass alone. And I feel like She is very grateful for that. She's very grateful that she was loved to the very last minute of her breath and loved beyond, okay? So I will leave that with you, okay? You have a beautiful day, Sherry.
You too. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Bye-bye. Okay, let us do another one. How about we do Elaine? Hi, Elaine.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well, honey. How are you doing?
Good.
Good, good. What can I do for you?
I would like to connect with my dad.
Okay, got it. It's super interesting, Elaine. I'm gonna bring Dad in, but I have to tell you, the first thing that I get is like there's a lot of unknown. So I'm almost wondering if he was just more private, more reserved. Like he makes me feel like not everyone knew everything. So
Yeah.
I get a sense of that. Would you understand that around your dad?
Yes.
Okay, okay. But I know with him, he gives me, I definitely feel like with dad, there's a sense of trying to do things right or trying to get things right. Okay. So I do know that there's that with him and him. And I just feel like, I think in general, Elaine, it's interesting because I feel like for him, he makes me, honestly, he gives me the sense that I think there are some mistakes he may have made, but it's also like, he tried to he just tried to do things right. He tried to fix things. He tried to own up to things. Like, to me, there's a sense of him just wanting to have integrity, have honor. Like, I feel like that's important to your pop.
Yeah.
Um, and he shows me a lot of, again, a lot of love with him. I feel like there's a lot of love with him. There's a lot of, he just feels very reasonable, like he's got a lot of answers to things, or good way at looking at things. He really shares that with me. He really gives me a feeling too of some failing health around him as well. Do you understand that, Elaine? Like, and almost a little bit of a rapidness to this failing health. So there's
Yeah.
something that was gnawing, but then it just feels like the current picked up, the tide picked up, that sort of thing. You understand that with him?
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like with your dad, honestly, I think he is a person that didn't mind his alone time. I just feel like, he liked to just be introspective. He liked to have some peace and quiet. So I feel like he enjoyed that a bit. He shows me some reader glasses and a book, so I almost feel like he may have enjoyed reading. Do you understand, your dad reading, or were you recently reading a book by chance, Elaine?
Not so much. But he did like to read
Okay.
magazines and stuff, so
Okay, so more magazines, not necessarily books,
yeah.
but he showed me some reader glasses and
Yeah,
kind of
probably.
sitting
Yeah.
there just looking at things in joy and kind of seeing what's coming up. And I just know, for him, he gives me a feeling of congratulations, a feeling of, so there's something to celebrate. I feel like we've got something kind of coming up, pending, that he wants to send a celebration to. So, do you understand this? Do we have someone's birthday or a wedding or something like this come up? Does that make sense? Or do you understand that with him?
There's a bunch of things, but my wedding's coming up and he died right before my
That's what it
wedding.
is. Okay, this is what it,
That would be
exactly what he wants to talk, exactly what he wants to talk about. And oh, I got to tell you, he is over the moon. He gives me over the moon for this, and over the moon for you, and over the moon that I feel, or he feels like you are with such a wonderful person, and he's very much, you know, gives it, without a doubt, obviously gives his blessing, gives his love, gives his blessing, and he
yeah.
absolutely is saying, I will be there, I will be there. um and I feel like, what I am going to tell you to do, Elaine, I think the best that you can, I want you to double check. I don't want you to make you nervous, because I'm sure it's nerve wracking enough, but I want you to double check, like, the electricity. I want you to double check. And I just feel like Dad's going to be there in a big way. Okay. and you may have already seen some light flickers. You may have already, so he's, he's adjusting to like, oh, wait a minute, that's a surge. Let me go easy. So your dad is very big on, using lights and so if for any reason we've got some technical issues, don't sweat it. Just kind of have some gratitude, like, oh, there he is, okay? And just know that he's around you, okay? But he absolutely is excited. He gives this blessing. He also brings up Valentine's Day. So I feel like there's a lot of love just around the month and around the 14th, and just letting people know that he loves them and that he's very, very much with them. Okay. And just know he's going to be there with you. Okay.
Okay.
I think that's really important to know. And for whatever it's worth, he loves the dress. So I just feel like there's something that is, it's not, I just feel like there's a lot of like just telling you you are beautiful. He wants to tell you that you are beautiful and you are loved, and he wants it to truly, truly be a day of celebration. It's so, so important. Okay.
Okay.
And I believe that there's a brother for you, Elaine. Is that correct? Do you understand a brother, or your dad's brother? Is there a connection to a brother in that way?
No, there's all girls. We're all sisters. I have 3 sisters, and he only had a
Um,
sister.
got
So
it.
I have 2
Mm,
boys,
maybe that's what it is. Okay, I think that that's what he's talking about. But they're a little older. They're getting a little older, right?
19 and 8. Yeah.
Yeah. Is the 19-year-old walking you down the aisle, or is there something where there's a connection with your son being with you or around you at the moment?
They're always we're really
Oh,
close. So my
okay,
kids are
got it.
always there. And
I
they
feel
just
like they what? They're always around.
yeah, and they changed their name to my dad's name. They took my
That
dad's name.
okay, because I
So
feel like there's just something there where he just gives them, mm, he shows them standing up beside you, and he shows me them standing right up beside you like pillars, and like, know their job is to hold you up, know that their job is to be the men in the family for him now, and to be those pillars, and to know that they're very, like, he's very proud of them. They're very, very, very good, strong young men, and they're also, I think, very polite, because he also loves, like, their good manners. and and I do, and again, I don't know if you have a D name, a David or a Daniel connected somewhere in the family, but that kind of brings me to a D name as well. D-A is what I'm seeing, or N, Danielle. Like, you don't have a D-A or D-A-N name, living or in spirit, for you, honey.
my mom's name is Diane.
I just feel like, just to know that he wants to give her some love.
Okay.
Okay, to give her some love, and yeah, and just, yeah, just give her some love, and to know that I think that he's very appreciative of the life that they had together. Okay. And I feel like, I almost want to say, he wants to say, for putting up with him, I'll just have to kind of, but he shows me a lot of love for everybody. But just know, Elaine, that dad is he gives me a laugh. He gives me a nice warm laugh. He gives me a sense of just warmth in his eyes. He gives me a sense of gentleness in his heart. And he just gives me an overwhelming sense of love, and knowing that he is with you for the next steps of the journey. And just know that he loves you, and to have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful celebration. Okay.
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 Thank
Lots
you.
of love to you. Absolutely. Okay, let us do another one here. How about Miss Sandra? Hi
Good.
there, how
How
are
are
you?
you? Hi.
So, what can I do for you tonight, Sandra?
I want to connect with my son.
Okay, so I will let everyone know. I know Sandra, she is one of my students, but very, very excited to connect to your son. And I think what's really beautiful about your son is there's such a connected there's such a connected souls with your son. It's a real kinsmanship. You know what I mean? I just feel like even in even in the physical realm, it's like your son is so intuitive. Like I think he could just know things you were saying, or feel things you're saying, or come give you a hug when you were feeling down. And he's little when he's doing this. Do you understand that, Sandra? You
Yeah.
know? And he just gives me that. And I feel like, it's also interesting is, I almost feel like you always, not that you knew he would pass early, but almost like you always had a fear that he would pass early. Do you understand that?
Yep.
Like I feel like there was just something it was almost something you could see in his eyes that you knew on a soul level, this is temporary, and I'm gonna soak it all up while I can. And I feel like that's why you literally loved him so unconditionally. I think you loved him and you really loved him for who he was. And I think you really embraced him, and he knew that, and he felt that. I think a lot of people in his life may have judged him, or may have, like, he's such a free spirit. And I think some people tried to dominate or tried to control. And I just don't feel like you did. I think you definitely tried to do your best, because he just makes me feel like he's a little wild, a little fun in that fun way. But, I just see him just seeing mom, thank you so much. Thank you so much. But gosh, I mean, this kid would have caused so much stress. I just feel like he he would like to, it's almost like this whole, like, take chances, like playing Frogger in a way. Like there's just this whole idea of like, oh my God, I'm not going to do this. But again, I think for him, it was so much about living life to the fullest, and that was important to him. I feel like he loved deeply. I really do. And a very, very sensitive soul. I also feel like, Sandra, he's so creative. I don't know if you have writings from him or poems from him. Like, I just feel like he had this beautiful way of thinking. Do you understand that?
I have a lot of letters and write and drawings and yeah.
Yeah, he really gives me that. He just keeps making me feel the mom. He shows me, this is really interesting. He shows me you with a walker. So I mean, that's a really interesting picture. And I feel like it's sometimes that you're struggling with holding yourself up, or maybe you're just, I don't know if I can hold myself up anymore. And he just shows me removing this walker and reminding you of how strong you are. Reminding you that, mom, you are strong and you've got this. You are the strongest person I know. And I feel like that's why he had the best and greatest respect for you. And it's also why I think in some ways he really didn't have secrets from you, but he also wanted to protect you. So it's a really, I think he was very good at, wanting to make sure you were taken care of, making sure, even from a really young age, he just took it upon himself. I just know he gives me the feeling. Okay, I will tell you, he shows me his feet. So I don't know if it's that he had a fetish for sneakers, or big feet, or this was a joke in the family, but he gives me something about his feet. Do you understand this connection with him, Sandra?
Yeah, he had a sneaker fetish.
Okay, that's what it is. Okay, so he shows me that. I also feel like your son was naturally athletic. I don't think he was this great athlete that he did. He just was naturally athletic. If he wanted to do something, he could just do it. And I think he could jump on a skateboard, jump on a bike, whatever he wanted to do, he could just do it. And he was just a natural at it. Do you understand that with him?
He had no
And
fear.
none, none. And it's the kind of kid that you couldn't say, well, if so and so jumped off a bridge, would you do it? You'd be like, yeah, I would. Like, you had no grounds. Look, I just know I will say this. He shows me a rainbow, And I feel like things are going to get brighter. He says, be positive, mom. Look at the rainbow. Things are getting better. I really, in an interesting way, feel like maybe the hardest part you've been through. And it's almost like, let's look at the light, mom. Let's look at the positivity and know that things are going to work out. I want you to know that things are going to work out. And I feel like at the end of the day, you're going to be stronger than you ever were. I feel like you're telling his story. I really do. And I feel like you are going to empower so many people. I feel like you're absolutely going to be a speaker, talker, healer, using all those modalities. And, he just shows me that strength for you to never quit, that strength for you to never quit is what's going to keep you helping so many people, honey. So I will leave that with you, okay?
Thank you. I needed this. Thank you so much, Colby.
You
You are
are
a blessing. Thank
you're
you.
so welcome. Lots of love to you, okay?
Lots of love to you too. Thank
Okay, there
you.
we go. There we go. Thank you. Okay, everybody. Let's do some questions here. I do see some here. And a heart my so Patty, this is interesting. It sounds like my mother, and I have a picture of her. So when I was connecting to um the grandma here, my mom passed on Easter. Could it be possible? So what's happening is your mom is, just tag teaming Patty, right? She's tag teaming the grandmother. She's listening in. She knows you're listening in, and she's like, "Hey, wait a second. I need to kind of get this through. So I'm going to kind of share some tidbits, and then my daughter knows I'm with her." So I'm almost positive you would have been thinking of mom by coming in. You would have been wondering if she's going to. And so I feel like that's just validation that mom is letting you know that she is around you. Okay. Connect to your husband who recently passed. So Shirley, as quick as you can, when I say something, put it in the comments for us for that validation if you can. First things first is your husband is like, I can't believe you're asking to talk to me. So he's like, oh my goodness, what is she up to, Colby? But your husband is being a good sport. Okay, so just know that he is being a good sport, showing up for you. But that's the thing, your husband did show up for you. Your husband was by your side. I think he was very much a big supporter of you. He anything you really wanted to do, he was there for you. I think he's absolutely your rock. He's your pillar. He really gives me again, very no nonsense with him. I think he really shows me a sense of getting things done when they needed to get done. I definitely feel like with him though, there's a struggle. I feel like with him, Shirley, I there's something with the health, and I feel like also even prior to the passing, the health was, just like the health just wasn't the best. I think he had some other issues, and they just started to compound. And I think that's really what started to kind of break the physical body down. That's kind of the sense he gives me. Okay, but I do know that he just makes me feel like he took things with a grain of salt. Okay, and he just gives me a sense of just kind of, it is what it is. These are the cards I'm dealt, and I feel like that was just kind of his approach to things. He really shows me though. I feel like he had loved the outdoors. Like I feel like just kind of, not a ton of travel necessarily, but just maybe more being outdoors, that he liked to do. He keeps showing me woods. So I don't know if you live near woods or he liked camping or things like that, but he keeps showing me the trees, and I feel like he loved trees. Okay, so he gives me a sense of that around him, and I just know it's inner. Yes, she says. Okay, wonderful. He really gives me a sense too. I do believe also, Shirley, a bit of a private man, not one to tell his woes. um I think he kept things kind of close to the best. You were really his confidant. But again, he liked to be strong for you. I'll tell you what, he gives me, you got to hug him, hold him towards the end of his life. He's making me feel like your arms are wrapped around him. And he really makes me feel like, he loves the feel of you, Shirley. So I feel like you're with him or holding him, and he could feel your warmth. He just lets me know how much that meant to him. Okay, and I know it was one of the most challenging things for you to do, to be there with him, by him. But he also, he lets me know that you gave him so much peace with you just being there. Gave him so much peace. He also talks about his wedding ring. So I feel like you may still have his wedding ring, Shirley. I'm not sure that you're necessarily wearing it, but he shows me that you have his wedding ring. And it's interesting. I wonder if there were two wedding rings, like maybe one got misplaced or lost, and there's a second. But it makes me feel like there's a sense of you having a wedding ring. Okay, yeah, so you do. Okay. And he also really says, he shows me a bunch of red roses for you. So, of course, we have, Valentine's Day coming up, but I also feel like, not the most romantic guy, but I do feel like he would send you roses. I think he would give you roses. I feel like he would love to show you the roses. So just know that if you see red roses from him, Shirley, that is him very, very much with you and around you. Okay. And he gives me all this love for you. Just know that he is doing just fine. And I will leave that with you. Lots of love to you, Shirley. I know it's very difficult because he is your everything, but just know that he's still very much around you and he's still in the house. So he gives me that with love. He gives that with me with energy. And he just wants you to stand tall, be brave, and just know that he's holding your hands. Okay. Absolutely. There you go. And I just want to thank everybody for being here, for joining me. I would love to keep going. I will just say with Kathy, real quick here. Anyone around me right now, Kathy, I will just say there is a male with you. There is a male around you and with you, and he just gives me a sense of having a fantastic, dry sense of humor. And he really just gives me a sense. I don't think there was a whole lot of time to say goodbye, but he doesn't want any regrets around that. He just wants to give you a lot of love and know that he's doing okay. Okay. So you guys, a lot of we talk about these loved ones, and we worry, are they okay? Are they at peace? And they are at peace. When someone transitions, there is an immediate flood of love. They're flooded with love. They're flooded with peace. Their body feels whole. The struggles they had are gone. And then they also have this learning. They have this place of, what's my next step or what's my journey? They have an opportunity to see you, to be around you, to show you that they're with you. And all of that comes together in healing and in love. Okay. So just know that. Okay. Thank you, Sandra. I really appreciate it. That's beautiful. Thank you, Kathy, very, very much. So I just want to thank everyone. Just as a final reminder, we do have Valentine messages from Spirit. So this is Monday, February 13th. So if you are looking to connect to that loved one, join me for that event. It is a private event that we're having. I just want to thank you guys so very, very much. Thank you so much, everyone, for the stars. That means a lot to me. Thank you for your love, your support. Keep watching, keep sharing, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye, everyone.
Thank you for listening to the Colby Rebel Show. Be sure to follow Colby on social media at Psychic Rebel. And if you've enjoyed this podcast, please head on over to iTunes to leave a review to help Colby grow the tribe. Colby is an international psychic medium, teacher, best-selling author, and speaker. She is a master teacher of the Lisa Williams International School of Spiritual Development and is the owner of the Colby Rebel Spirit Center in Los Angeles. Visit colbyrebel.com.